He goes, what happened here? I'm like, you're the investigator? You're asking me? I'm a simple suburban lawyer.
Don't just pay that ticket. Go to attackthatticket.com or call today, 877-99-NO-TICKS.
Hello, YouTube fans. It's Mike Palumbo. I'm back. I know it's been a little while. Haven't posted a video in a while. I'm still around. I'm still working. I just been, it's been, you know, when spring comes, I like to get out. I've been traveling around the country a little bit, visiting some friends. Still working. I always work remote, no matter where I go. But back home, and I want to make a video that about a client, a case I recently just did for a client that you can't even believe the stuff that happens sometimes. A woman calls me for a ticket, and this is such a lengthy story. I had to take notes. Like back in January, let's just say her names will be changed to protect the innocent. Her name is Mary Smith. And Mary calls me. She says, look, I have a Connecticut license a while ago now. I got a ticket when going Lake George in New York State, and my dog ate the ticket. And when she said that, I thought she just meant she lost it, but her dog actually ate the ticket. She says, I never sent it in, but I've gotten tickets before, you know, and you know, usually you get a notice from the court or something, or someone sends you a notice. I never got anything. I don't know the name of the court. I said, well, it's going on a year now, so you're probably suspended in New York. Maybe you didn't get the notice or something like that, or you could be pending suspension, but don't worry about it. I can run you through the New York State DMV database with your name and date of birth, and I'll find out if you're suspended. If you're not suspended, there's a unit of the DMV I can call to find out where tickets are written. I can track it down and get the case going and handle it. So she hires me. So Mary Smith's date of birth is November 10th, 1975. So she sends me a copy of her license, so I have her pedigree information, Connecticut license. And I go on, I have an account with the DMV. I go online, I put her information in. If they don't have a New York State license, you run them by name and date of birth. And I put the correct information in, and what came up, what was returned to me, was a Mary Brown. So I put in Mary Smith, but what came up was Mary Brown. And Mary Brown was born on January 10th, 1975. So my client was born November 10th, 1975. This other person was born January 10th, 1975. So I looked at this. So first off, how do I screw up Smith and Brown? How do I put the wrong name in? I could see the date. Maybe, you know, I missed the one. I put the wrong date of birth in. But so I thought, I don't know. Maybe it came back because it was close. Maybe, you know. So obviously a mistake. So I slowly type in one letter, one character at a time. Mary Smith. You know, the right date of birth, and Mary Brown comes up again. So I called my client. I said, hey, you know, have you had, oh, by the way, Mary Brown is suspended all over the state of New York. I mean, she lives in the middle of New York somewhere. She got like 10 suspensions all over the place. So I said, listen, have you ever lived in New York, had a New York license? You know, is this your maiden name? Or were you ever married? You ever have the name Brown? Was this always your name Smith? She goes, no, I never had a New York license. And my name is not, you know, I've never been married. So I looked at this woman's, Mary Brown's pedigree information. It gives you a little description. Brown hair, brown eyes, 5'2". And I asked my client, although I had a license, but I really didn't just look at it. You know, I just looked at it for her name and date of birth. I said, you know, what do you look like? She says, I got blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm 5'10". So definitely not the right person. I don't know how this happens, but it's not the right person. So I called the driver improvement unit of the Department of Motor Vehicles, and I run this by them. This is back in February, maybe January, February. And they go, okay, no problem. Yeah, there's a mistake. It's not her. I go, yeah, I know it's not her. Why is she coming up? Why did she come back, no record found? There's nothing there. Why is another person coming up? Well, I don't know. I guess their records got merged. Listen, send us a copy of her license, copy of her social security number. You black out everything except the last four digits of the social security number. You know, that abstract you have there, and a letter from her saying it's not me, that is not me. And she gave me a fax number to send it to the driver improvement unit. I was like, put it to the attention of the not me unit. I said, what? Like, yeah, put it to the attention of the not me unit. So the Department of Motor Vehicles in New York State has a not me department. So I get the letter from my client, I send it all in for her, and 3 months later, they don't send me anything back because, you know, it's the DMV. Why should they do things right? They send something to my client saying, giving her a letter saying, yes, Mary Smith, you're not Mary Brown. Well, we knew that. So I go, okay. So I go, well, they must have created a separate record for you, but they didn't. I run my client Mary Smith again, and Mary Brown comes up. So I call driver improvement again. I'm like, you know, what's going on? I go, yeah, we sent her a not me letter. I'm like, yeah, but her, when I can't run her. Did you guys create a client ID number for her? It's like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, no, we don't. I was like, well, look, if someone runs my client in New York State, puts her, you know, she gets pulled over, some other person's going to come back and the cop's going to see all these suspensions. She can get arrested. So they go, oh, no, but we can't do that here. She's like, and, you know, the woman looked up everything I sent in. It was in their unit. She's like, oh, I see what the problem is. I go, well, fix it. They're like, oh no, well, we can't do that. You got to send this to the driver's license exceptions unit. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that? I mean, I would have done that months ago. And they're like, well, I don't know. You know, sometimes they're pretty good driver improvement. They're not perfect. So I send all this information into the exceptions unit. And whenever I call the DMV, I'm like, hey, does that unit have a phone number? Like, yeah, but we can't give it out. So you just got to contact them by mail, and then they'll contact you. So I mailed them everything, you know, to the exceptions unit. And I said, look, you know, there's a mistake. My client is not one of the same. Here's her license. Here's her social security card. Here's her, you know, her pedigree. We even sent in a copy of her passport just for extra ID. And a couple months goes by, and I get a call from a DMV inspector, an investigator, and he says, yeah, the exceptions unit sent me this information. I go, okay. He goes, yeah, that's not her. I go, I know that's not her. He goes, what happened here? I'm like, you're the investigator and you're asking me? I'm a simple suburban lawyer. I don't know what happened. That's the whole, I go, look, but it's obviously not her. I mean, it's you know, you got her license, you got her date of birth, different last name, different date of birth. And he goes, well, they sent this to me because they're confused. I was like, well, we all are. And I go, look, she needs her own client ID number. You gotta extricate her. Then he did a little more digging. He called me back. He goes, yeah, back in 2010, because even though she never had a New York license, she had other tickets, and they create a persona for you. They create a client ID number for you. These two records were merged together. We can't figure out why. I go, okay, so can you unmerge them? He goes, yeah, we'll unmerge them. So just the other day, and we're in June, it started in January, they unmerged the files for this client of mine. So now she has her own client ID number under her own name and date of birth, and this other person has her own problems with numerous suspensions. And I'm telling you this story because it really underscores, I mean, this is a problem I'd never seen before, and I've been doing this a long time, but I specialize in traffic ticket defense, so I knew who to contact and how to do it, so to speak. Even though I don't practice, you know, I've never run across this problem before, but I've run across similar problems, and I know who to contact in the DMV. And if I couldn't get anywhere with this, I have friends in the legal department, and I ain't above, and I have the email address of the commissioner of the Department of Motor Vehicles. And I have emailed him in the past on problematic situations. He's never emailed me back or called me back or anything. But what he does is he forwards it to the unit head of that unit. And then they call me back and they're like, why didn't you just contact me? I'm like, because you guys are super secretive. I didn't even know your unit existed. I go on the DMV's website. I don't know there's a unit for this stuff. You know, I'm like, I didn't mean to get you in trouble, but you know, I had to do it. So I knew the steps to take because I specialize in traffic ticket defense. It certainly was a problem I've never seen before, but I did get it resolved for my client. And to date, whatever court she got the ticket in hasn't reported it anywhere because they got to tell the DMV that the ticket's been issued. Unless it was a state, it must not have been a state trooper because when a state police do it, it automatically sends a tickler to the DMV. But if a local police officer does it, the court itself has to then notify the DMV that a ticket's been issued. So the DMV has no record of it, so there's nothing I could do until someone sends her a notice. Anyhow, it's Mike Palumbo. Just wanted to bring you that story of a difficult case, and I'm going to continue to pump out more great video content for you guys to watch, and looking forward to seeing you at the next one.